Hello everybody, and welcome back. I'm Christo, this is Aurora 4X. And today, what are we doing? Can't remember. It's been a few days since I last played. I believe, yes, so we just finished producing mass drivers. We've done our survey of the solar system, so we know about all these resources, and what we have found is honestly a little bit troubling. We found that we do not have very many resources in our solar system. There's some things that we have plenty of. We haven't got a huge amount of corundium, and we have a shortage of sorium, with the exception of this huge chunk on Mars. The stuff on Mars is quite hard to extract, as hard as it literally can be to extract, in fact, at 0.1 accessibility, meaning we'll extract it 10 times slower or at 10% of regular speed. So, the other thing we've done is we've set up, wrong screen, sorry, we've set up all these colonies on all these different places, which are the ones that I want to mine right out of the gate. And the reason we set these up as colonies is because that means we can now pull resources off them. We can add stuff to them. So, we're going to take our freight fleet here, which can carry 3 mass drivers at once, three standard-sized installations, which are 25,000 tons at once, and we will load mass drivers, of which there are 24 on Earth. Never load your last mass driver off Earth, otherwise you will essentially nuke yourself. And then we will go down this list and we'll drop off 1 mass driver on each. So we want to unload a specific installation mass driver, and you can see it says here unload mass driver. Min 1 is not what I wanted. Remove last order. We want to go to Dione, however you say that, and we're going to unload a maximum of 1 mass driver. And then Faye, unload mass driver. Gong Gong, unload mass driver, and then we're going to go back to Earth. Refuel. Yes, I should also check how far can Atmos... These are Atmos Mark III class ships. How far can an Atmos Class 3 ship fly before it runs out of fuel? Atmos... Well, first off, Atmos Mark I is obsolete. No, sorry, don't check it there. You go Atmos... Then you go... Whoops. Closed my screens. We go Atmos. First off, wide view, please. Atmos is obsolete. Atmos 2 is obsolete, which means it just won't show up in this list anymore when I reopen it. Good. The Atmos Mark III can go 31 billion kilometers without refueling, which means this round trip here, you can see it's only a 16 billion kilometer round trip. It's going to take a long time, 166 days, but at this distance, we're not going to run out of fuel. So good, we'll just refuel between each one. And then Earth, we will once again load 3 mass drivers and just carry on down the list. Unload 1. And so this process I'm doing right now, you don't have to do this very often, but this kind of highly manual process is not uncommon in Aurora. So if you're not into this kind of degree of fine-tune control, there are ways that you can do this faster, and I'll show you some of them later. You need a more developed civilian economy. But if you don't like the idea of doing this kind of manual control, it's probably not the game for you. And I don't say that to be gatekeepery. I just say that because the reality of this game is that you do things like this a fair amount. Not always this laboriously. Oh crap, I forgot to refuel between that one. Well, that's okay, it's still only 33, so if 16 is before the refuel, and then we refuel now, we should be fine. Go to Earth and refuel. Okay, so that should put 1 mass driver on all of our planets. All of our colonies, rather, sorry, they're not all planets. Good. Excuse me a second, I think my wife's just calling me. Alright, I have returned. What was I doing? Yes, so we're going to drop all those off, and then we're building all these automated mines, which we will ship out. And 1 mass driver can handle 1,000... yeah, so when it mines here, the production, that's got to be per year. Yeah, it's got to be per year, that can't be per 5 days. I think 1 mass driver can handle 5,000 production per year per mass driver. Like, that's how much it can send. They can receive any number. So our one's on Venus, 2000, and we can see that the stockpile here is still at 0, right? So it's successfully sending out all 2,300, and that's all coming home to Earth. Speaking of things coming home to Earth, I think I should... Let me just turn off my display capture for a moment while I get this up. I should be running Auto Marvin, which is an extremely good tool, which you can Google if you don't already have it, which lets you read your Aurora database file and get lots of much better data about the game and about what's going on. So here it is, good old Auto Marvin. And if we go to Minerals and we save the game, every time you save the game, it creates a point for Auto Marvin to lock onto. We can see that it gives us our, our resource stockpiles, and they're all looking, perfectly healthy so far. And fuel stockpile, and maintenance supply stockpile, population stockpile, wealth stockpile, all this kind of stuff, as well as the heinous tech tree. Plus, it also shows you all of your colours, which I have set up such that it's usually green is to do with terraforming, purple is to do with commanders, purple is to do with fleet movement, and then pink is to do with commanders, and then brown is to do with like production and research. Usually blue is good, red is bad. That's the kind of vague color scheme I've gone with. And in fact, you know what? Someone asked me to upload my color scheme, which I should do. So I'm going to do that now. I'll be right back. Right, there we go. If you want to use the same event color scheme as me, and you can change it once you import it, then go ahead onto the first episode I recorded called How to Download and Patch Aurora 4X in 2022, and then you hit import colors here and you select your CSV. That's how that works. Right, so we're building all these automated mines, our industry's working, our research is working. Let's get some time going. Okay, so Archon 1 and 2 are unable to carry out their tasks because they've run out of things to do, basically. Run out of things to survey. So, come on back to Earth, resupply, begin an overhaul, and then just stay in orbit. Refuel, resupply, begin overhaul. Hang on a second. Earth, did I give you no maintenance capacities? No, right, so right now they have a 5,000 ton maintenance facility capacity. What this means is, we have these ships, right? We've got 3 of them. And they're each 4,000 tons. And right now, first off, Archon, you need a new class with better armor. Although actually, we're probably not gonna. We'll have a new class of vessel that's going to be the next tier up, which won't bother refitting their armor. We have these things. They're 4,000 tons each, right? And ships that need maintaining require a constant stream of maintenance supplies used up to keep them, in good order. And Earth right now can only sustain 5,000 tons of ships in orbit around it, without them kind of degrading, basically. So, we need to build some maintenance facilities. And we have 5, I assume we have 5 maintenance facilities right now? Yeah, we have 5, which means we can do 5,000 tons, sorry. So instead, where is maintenance facilities? So they're very cheap. We can do 5 tons right now. Let's bring it to 100,000 tons. Yeah, we can do 5,000 tons right now. Let's bring it to 100,000 tons. And we will move these down. Many things in Aurora will be much better with shortcut keys, but they're just limitations to the way it's made. It's fair enough. So yeah, we're going to knock out another 95 of those. We'll probably build more of those in the future. I don't want to overbuild them, because otherwise you start chomping through all your resources into... turning all your resources into maintenance supplies. You can turn it off down here, but yeah. Okay, what else do I need to do? Yes, right, shippy boys, come on home. So, go to Earth and overhaul, go to Earth and overhaul, and you, what are you doing? No orders. Go to Earth, refuel, overhaul, turn off your standing order, which means they won't automatically try and survey places. Go. And they're going to both arrive home, of course. Cool. And yes, Archon 1 has arrived home, Archon 2 has arrived home. Archon 3 has completed their overhaul. And we have completed our research into science, into construction rate So I think I'm going to keep doing a couple of these construction and production techs. They're pretty useful. And obviously they pay dividends. Let's do some wealth techs. I never like to have to... Dealing with wealth is kind of a bit annoying in this game, to be honest, sometimes. Because it's not a very fleshed out system. A maintenance facility is finished, and now you can see that on Earth we can now handle 100,000 tons in terms of maintenance capacity, which is more than enough. And you can see our ship bouncing around doing all these different installations. We're of course not doing this the perfectly efficient way. We could have worked out where all the colonies are and then moved around them in a particularly, more efficient route, but we don't really need to. So there we go. Freight Run has completed its orders. The other thing we should probably start doing is getting some people living on some other planets. But let's do things one at a time just to keep it nice and simple. It will make it easier for you guys to follow apart from anything else. So we're going to go to Earth. We're going to load as many automated mines as we can. There's only 16 automated mines on Earth? No way. Really? Not building them very quickly. Is there really only 16? Yeah, there is. Huh. I'm surprised. And now all of these should have exactly one mass driver. Yes, indeed. You can see the list of things they have up here. And yeah, 5,000 tons. I thought so. So they all have one mass driver. Good. Venus still has one. And Earth has 12 left. So there's only 16 automated mines. I mean, we're not going to be able to do this for long. But what resource are we most short on? And let's ask Auto Marvin. Well, it's corundium, probably. Well, no, that's not corundium, sorry. It's macassium, probably because we're using it a bunch. But we've got a bunch of macassium on Venus already. We should probably build some more construction facilities as well, honestly. What are we going to run out of first? Verandite, we've got quite a lot of. You don't use that much Verandite. Boronite, you don't use a lot of Boronite. Corbamite, okay, we're going to use a fair amount of Corbamite. And obviously corundium. So what have we got here? And I'm sure I'm pronouncing these wrong, by the way. Bite me, basically. I mean, Io has lots of resources on it. Let's go grab some of that, especially this lovely, lovely corundium. So, freight. Go to Earth. Remove loss. So we're going to go to Earth. We're going to refuel. And then we're going to load automated mines. And then we're going to go to Io, we're going to unload everything, and then we're going to go back to Earth, refuel, load automated mine, and repeat. So just cycle that movement, do it over and over again. I like having this face cam, by the way. Partly, the reason I have the face cam for this series, when I don't normally, by the way, is just because I think there's not a huge amount going on screen. So I'll give you something to look at. But also, it makes me sit up straight. If I center myself when I'm sitting up properly, it's a life hack for you if you need to improve your posture. Just put a little face cam in the corner of one of your screens. Right, so cycle that movement. Good. And that won't take long. And then also, I think I'm going to split out my production a bit more. Let's do... Oops, what did I do there? I want you at 40. I want you at 40. Excuse me? 40. There we go. And then I want some of you... I need 5,000 infrastructure with 10% of our production capacity working on it. And then just keep making some more construction factories as well. Give me another 200. Cool. That way, this just lets us scale, right? Yeah, it's going to use a bunch of resources to do all of that, but that's okay. Off they go, back and forth, IO 6, 12, 15, 18, 21, 22. Oh, actually, okay, they're being produced at such a rate that it can kind of constantly go back and forth to IO. Interesting. That's not very fuel efficient, though, so we will call that off. And then research. Another construction rate one, I think. Seems like a good get to me. But yeah, let's call that off. Go to Earth. Refuel. Stop cycling moves. We'll do it again in a bit, basically, when the automated mines on Earth have built up, because I don't want them flying back and forth carrying 1/3 capacity of what they could be carrying. So now we have 27 automated mines on Io, and we can see that they're going to mine out 600 every year. It's not much, but it gets up there, and we're going to send it back to Earth. Boom. Good stuff. And as you can see, the resources on Earth, they do ever be ticking down. So we've got to be ready for more expansion, more exploration, more exploitation. We need to be able to get more and more resources forever from everywhere to fuel the endless desires of our growth. Should be fun. Right. Again, where was I? Yes, we're going to assign new research factories are going to get assigned to the construction rate one, because obviously construction rate, again, just helps us scale, by which I mean, you know, increase the size of our operation, and ideally also increase the rate at which we can increase the size of our operation, which is all the better. Cool. And yeah, large fuel storage. And yeah, so typically it's a good idea to try and have some kind of military technology research before you leave the solar system, because you can jump into the neighboring system and then just immediately meet your doom. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to jump into the next solar system. But what I am going to do is start working on at least being able to have some things on my ship, which means we'll be able to see what kills us. So now I'm going to start working on... Hang on, have I even researched like jump point theory? Where is jump point theory? It's power and propulsion, isn't it? No, we haven't researched jump point theory. Okay, we'll do that first. Yeah, assign new to... Sure, the better fission reactor. So let me talk a little bit about what's going to happen next, right? So far you can see kind of how we exploit resources in the solar system. Now we need to go beyond the solar system, because as I say, you know, there's some resources that are just kind of pretty sorely lacking. So what we're going to need to do now is go beyond. Right now, this is the galaxy map. It's just Sol. But in Sol, there are going to be about 3 jump points. Points from which you can transmit yourself, teleport yourself instantly from one solar system to another solar system. Jump points can be anywhere in the solar system, as far as I know. They're usually relatively far out, just because the solar systems are large. And what we're going to do is go through them and try and find places with resources. And what we're going to do that is build a new class of ship. At least that's how I think I'm going to try and do it. Which is going to be basically a scout ship. And the scout ship is not going to have science capabilities. This is not... So one of the things that's worth saying about this game, you can play it in so many different ways. Don't think I'm doing like the main way to do it. Most people don't care about the lives of their scientists and just send them out blind to survey stuff. And then when they die, they go like, okay, there's enemies there, so I'll investigate. I like having scout ships. So I'm going to build some scout ships whose function is to go jump through jump points, land in new solar systems, and then see if there's anything there. And if there's nothing there, we send in the science ships to survey it, and we begin our colonization efforts. So what I'm going to do is firstly invent jump point theory, and then invent a bunch of sensors that will let us see enemy ships. And it's useful to be able to see enemy ships, but you also need sensors that can see enemy missiles, ideally before they hit you. Firstly, that's good because it helps you shoot down enemy missiles. Secondly, it's useful to know the speed and number of enemy missiles, because then you can design a military vessel capable of having sufficient point defense. That is to say, the ability to shoot down incoming missiles to survive such a barrage of enemy missiles. So we're going to start working towards that. Let the game continue. So you can see, yes, our build points are slowly creeping up here. I think I will... What was that brown event? It was, yeah. Mostly brown events are to do with minerals in my game. Yeah, that was uridium running out on Earth. Should keep saving so I can keep getting updated lines on my auto Marvin. Right, rock and roll. Defense system guy, someone got promoted. Yeah, I mean, if you were seeing all the events that were happening, like, let me give you an idea here. If you show all events, so much stuff goes on with the commanders, which is why I have them turned off. Annoyingly, you can't say, like, I don't care when a military commander dies or retires, but I do care if a scientist dies or retires, because usually that's the way around it is. Like, I care about the scientists, I don't care about the commanders. But if we let it go here for a second, you'll see, you know, there's constantly events around these. So I highly recommend you click on them and then click hide event here in the bottom left. And if you need to see them for whatever reason, you can hit show all events. So if you find, for example, that some of your science labs are not being used and you wonder what they were previously researching and hence want to check who died, you can click show all events and then look for who died. Cool. That little bit of tutorialization out of the way. Rock and roll. Yeah, having the events window open all the time does slow the game down a bit. Kind of like strangely so compared to other games, but jump point theory has been completed. So in order to design a jump engine, you need various things. Sorry, a jump drive. You need various things. Most precisely, you need... where am I going? Jump engine. You need to have these three, which is like squad size, max distance, and something else. So we're going to invent these, yeah. Max squad size, squadron jump radius, and jump drive efficiency. I don't think you start with a jump drive efficiency. Could be wrong though. Yeah, you don't. So we're going to invent all of those now. Boom. They won't take long because we're putting 30 labs into them, which is quite a lot. And there we go. And then we'll get... which one was that? Jump drive efficiency. We'll get squadron size done. And you can see now that with this 30% bonus, it gets times up so much that we're actually getting a 140% bonus. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Working it very nicely. We have this guy synergizing with 35% bonus. Sorry, it's giving us 140%. Pretty regular speed. There's squadron size, and now we need jump radius. I'll explain these more when we actually design our jump engine. We'll probably get a few jump efficiencies first. I think we'll get the level 5 efficiency. Yeah, I think we'll get the level 5 jump drive efficiency 5 rather before we actually build our jump drive, because jump drives are large is the problem with them. The other way to move through jump points is you can stabilize them by building a jump gate, which is kind of like a Mass Effect relay from Mass Effect if you've played that. And what they do is they allow you to go back and forth even if your ship doesn't have a jump drive. Traditionally, you only want to build those once you've scouted the system beyond it, because otherwise it makes it very easy for the enemy to move back and forth towards you, as well as making it easy for you to move to them. Gaseous fission reactor has been done, which means now we can do the nuclear gas core engine. And that can have new things. But we should be using our most proficient scientist for the one that we have the most labs assigned to. So let's do that like so. Cool. And yes, chunking through this now. 2.6, nice. We've got jump drive efficiency 5. We might even go jump drive efficiency 6. Because let's see, if we were to build one now, jump engines. So you've got efficiency 5, it auto-selects the best one. Squadron size is 3, jump size. So squadron size means a ship with a jump engine of this type can take through 3 ships. Pretty self-explanatory, right? So that's called being a jump tender. And a jump tender means a single ship basically opens the portal or whatever, and then all of them can go through it. And that number can get high. So you can end up, you can have military fleets, for example, where just 1 or 2 ships have these big, heavy jump drives, and they help lots of smaller, lighter ships jump through. And having smaller, lighter ships is very important because you want to have really, really fast military ships. But for our purposes, we don't really mind about that. And then there's a difference between a military and a commercial jump drive. Only a military jump drive can jump military engines through a portal or whatever, however you want to put it. They can only jump military engines. Now remember, we're not using military engines. We're using military ships technically on some of the things that this jump drive is going to go on, but only technically, only because they're survey vessels. But they don't have military engines, so we can use a commercial drive. Now a commercial drive is larger, but I believe it has a better ratio of what it can jump through. Let me check that here, actually. So we can see that the military jump drive of size 15 can jump something of size 75. So we get 75 divided by 15. It's a ratio of 5 to 1, right? But if we go to a commercial jump drive, then something of size 150, sorry, other way around, something of size 562 can be jumped by something of the size 150, 3.7, right? So you can jump, no wait, that's more on a military engine, isn't it? What's the difference? Aurora 4X, military, just jump drives. Jump drives. I think maybe it's that the military ones cost more to research. So this commercial jump drive takes 400 research points, and the military jump drive of the same research level can jump a ship that's very much larger, 28,000 tons versus 3,000 tons. Oh god, I think the Aurora wiki might be down. That's not good. Jump drives care about the engine of the ship. Yeah. Well, without the ability to read the wiki, this is going to be a different... this is going to be a very difficult let's play. I assume it's that, yeah, it's just about research. So let's say you wanted to jump a size 4,000 ship, which is what we have right now, right? So that would take, on a military jump drive, that would take a 16 hull size thing that costs 423 research points. But on a commercial ship, it would be way smaller. Well, it'd be about the same size, but it would cost half as many research points. And I think it would be cheaper as well. Anyway, so we're trying to jump through our survey ship. So we don't actually know how big the survey ship is yet. So we shouldn't try and invent the jump drive. Instead, let's switch over this engine research to this, and then switch the rest of these over to inventing some stuff for sensors. So what we want from sensors are, active sensors. We want some active sensors. We need 2 active sensors, one that can spot enemy ships and one that can spot enemy missiles. And what we're trying to do here is just make sure we see the enemy missile before it destroys our ship. Because if we see it and know how fast it's going, like if we get fired upon, if the ship gets fired upon, it will die. That's the end of that story. So all we need to do is be able to see the missile before it kills us. So we're not going to use conventional active sensor strength. We're going to use the grav sensor strength. So we need to give it a certain resolution, right? And if you have a resolution 100, then it's designed basically to see a 5,000 ton object or larger. Enemy ships will tend to be between 10 and 50,000 tons, in my experience. But if you want to see a missile, you've got to make the resolution 1, which means it will see. Sorry, you've got to make it. Yeah, 1 is right, isn't it? Yeah. So once you can see right here with a 2 hull size ship. 2 hull size sensor, you can see 100 ton objects at a certain range, 1,000 ton, 25, 250 ton, etc. But when you go down to 1 hull size, it now knows this is actually a missile sensor. And so at range size 6 missile, you can see it at this range, size 8 missile, size 12 missile, right? So what we need to do is improve the active sensor strength such that when it's this resolution, we can see further. Because let's say the missile is size... so size 6 or smaller all get treated the same. But let's say the missile is going at 64,000 kilometers a second, which is not at all unthinkable. Then over 5 seconds, which is the unit of time that the game tends to progress in, it's going to travel 320,000 kilometers, which means that it can go from being outside of our sensor range to hitting us instantly, effectively. So what we need is something that can, let's say we're dealing with 64,000. That's a fast missile, but that's one of the missiles that's one of the speeds. I think it's 62,000 maybe, but let's go with 64 for a little bit of buffer. I believe that's one of the speeds that the enemy missiles from the precursor races can go. So let's say we're looking for that. We need to be able to see it for at least 5 seconds. So we need a range on a size 6 missile or smaller of 320,000. But ideally, we want to see it a little bit before then, so that we can see how quickly they fire their next volley, for example, is useful information. So let's say we want to be able to see it, not just for 5 seconds, but for... Well, they won't fire another volley in that time, but let's just give ourselves a little bit of a cushion. I want to see it for 15 seconds. So we need about 1 million range on a size 6 or smaller missile. With conventional sensor strength 2, we're not going to achieve that without a very large sensor. We'd have to have a 39 hull size strength sensor, which for context, that's a 2,000 ton sensor. Like, it's a big thing. So we're going to get this research done to give us better grav sensor strength, and then we will be able to design a sensor which will work better. Also, it's probably time to send out some automated mines. How many have we got now? Yeah, we've got 128 now. So what I'm going to do, in fact, is take my freighters. They're going to go to Earth, they're going to refuel, they're going to load automated mines, they're going to go to IO and unload. They're going to go to Earth, they're going to refuel, they're going to load automated mines, and they're going to take them somewhere else. So where else looks tasty? We've got a 2.9... The sum accessibility here is the rate at which you will get resources, you know, whatever those resources are, mining on that planet or that body. So what you want to be doing usually is mining things with high total accessibility first. So Wild has some pretty good ones at 3.4. So let's go to Wild. Unload all installations. Check how far out that is, because Wild, I happen to know, is a comet, and comets tend to go, they can be a long way out sometimes. Then go back to Earth, refuel, and then just do that over and over. It's going to take 30 days to complete that round trip. Cool. Back to progress. And we will see our ship flying back and forth as it completes that task. And there we go, Wild's up to 12, and now we can see we're starting to mine on Wild, and we will send the resources to Earth. Good. Now, the next thing to do, maybe I'll do that once I finish my current, once I finish my current infrastructure build, we'll worry about that. The next thing to do is to establish some colonies. Now, why do you want to establish colonies? Number one, you want to be able to staff infrastructure on planets that aren't Earth. Because lots of types of infrastructure, basically everything that isn't an automated mine, requires, there are other examples, but basically everything that isn't an automated mine, requires people to run it. And so you need to have people on the places where you want to run those systems. The other reason is because population grows higher when the population on a body is lower. So you want to have lots of different populations spread around the place so that they grow faster. That's the short version of that. I will go a couple of levels up on active sensor strength, probably until it costs 5,000 maybe. Because I think we could just do with... We don't want to waste time building bad sensors, basically. The other thing we need to do is invent... is it not in here? Yeah, gravitational survey sensors. So the infrastructure building is done at Earth. I will just scale up our construction facility building, and actually I'm going to make quite a lot more construction facilities. One thing to watch out for construction facilities, they employ a lot of people. So keep an eye on your available workers. It's not a problem for us now, but it's worth keeping an eye on. Other thing we should do is actually build us another naval... Oh wait, did we build a sector headquarters? Yes, we did. And yet, we don't have a sector governor right now. So, give me a sector governor. Sectors. So what do we got here? Sort some stuff. Give me mining, followed by production, followed by pop growth, followed by wealth creation. He's pretty good. Is he currently commanding Earth by any chance? Yeah. Sure, I'm going to steal him and put him on the Sol sector. And then we'll pick someone else to assign to Earth. Maybe we shouldn't automate Earth, actually, because it's so important that Earth is, has a good governor. I don't have anyone that good for mining to go there instead, but I guess I'll put this guy here. who has 25% bonus on production and 15% on 15% on wealth creation. He has a significant medical problem affecting his long-term health. That's not great. So we'll turn off automated assignment for that, but I should turn it on for these places. And remember, these places are just mining. So the only modifier I care about on them is mining. So this will automatically assign someone to these who has some degree of mining bonus. Cool. So that'll handle the auto assignment for these. And then also actually going to put the same thing on all of these ones. Because we don't need... Yeah, all of these don't have people living on them. So we can just do that. And again, you know, this kind of manual setting stuff up, it's not obligatory in this case. You know, you don't have to put the governor anywhere if you don't want to. But if you do want to kind of min-max these things, then you are going to find that quite a lot of it is very manual. And it has pros and cons. You know, the con is, of course, it's very silly that you can't just, you know, there are way, no, it's not silly, but there are way better ways this could have been built. Whether those ways are plausible in this environment, I suspect not. I very much suspect not. So it's not a slight on the game's creator in the slightest. But, you know, there are much more pleasant interfaces than having to click through each and automate assignment and pick who you want and all that kind of stuff. But on the other hand, when you've done it all yourself, there is a certain feeling of satisfaction because, you know, it's like building something by hand. You really have accomplished something when you put it all together and it all works and it's all a good system. It's good fun. Right, so now we've done that, let's use our infrastructure. And what are we going to do with our infrastructure? Well, we're going to find some planets that we want to inhabit. So here is the solar system. Here are all the planets. Here is their colony costs. That's how much infrastructure we need to house a certain number of people. So Mercury, 2.7, pretty low, pretty habitable. Luna, 2, very low, very habitable. Mars, 2.13, very habitable, and has lots of resources on it, so it wants to get some automated mines drilling into Mars. Low gravity places we don't really want to go. You can get low gravity infrastructure, but we probably don't want to go there. And the other thing we want to care about is right over here, max population, and this number is in millions. So you'll see that Earth has a max population of 12 billion. Venus has a max population of 10 billion. Mercury, on the other hand, only 351 billion. Luna only 351 million. And these ones that are titchy, like Phobos, yeah, how do you say this one? Isn't it Phobos? And Deimos? Or is it Deimos? I'm not sure. They can only hold 50,000 people. You know, not very many people at all. But yeah, if we look down the list here, there are some others that are pretty big. So Titan, it's pretty hefty. You can put a lot of people on Titan. So where do we want to inhabit? Mercury, 2.7 colony cost. It's not that high. It does fluctuate between 3.8 and 2.7. Looks like 3.9 and 2.7 because its orbit is not perfectly centered on the sun. It's an elliptical orbit, meaning, you know, it gets hotter and colder over time. So that is kind of annoying, but I think we will put a colony there, at least a small colony. So we'll create a colony there. Luna is nice and habitable. 2 is a really good number, so we're definitely going to put a colony there. Mars, of course, we already have a colony there, and we're going to populate it. Io, we are going to populate, mostly because it has a lot of resources on it. That's definitely going to be somewhere we want to inhabit. Now, the rest of these, I think we wanted to inhabit Titan. Yeah, Titan has a lot of resources, and again, it doesn't require low gravity infrastructure, which is a separate thing. So we're going to inhabit that. Diane, probably not. That might be it for now. U here means unsurveyed, by the way, and that's just because they're miles away. But we haven't actually surveyed them. And these ones are small. These are all comets. We're not gonna populate a comet. I guess that's it. Honestly, is that all we're gonna populate? Really? I thought there was another one we wanted to inhabit which had loads of resources. Maybe that was Titan that I was thinking about. Yeah, and just looking, is there anywhere else that has like a big max pop? Yeah, so, okay, yeah, we probably will do Ganymede, Europa, and Callisto, just because they're quite habitable. And they have some ice already, which is nice, because we can melt that into water, and water is, I don't know if you've heard of this, but water is quite important, making a planet habitable. Yeah, I think that'll do as the planets we want to inhabit. So what we're going to do to inhabit them is take our fleet, and we're going to go to... Well, it's already doing something right now, but we're going to let this run until the number of automated mines on these planets is rising by a number that's less than 3, basically. Or until the number on Earth gets down to none. And then we'll do it. And yeah, you can't see this, it's on the event link, but a whole bunch of us commanders just got assigned to all those new places. And in fact, actually, ones that we're not... Well, we'll wait to have people on it and then we can do it. That's fine. And the new engine is researched. Research, by the way, is done per planet. So if you want to have, you know, Mars do all of your shield research and Earth do all your industry research, you can do that. Scientists, however, are just found anywhere. You can use any scientist in any place. Using less fuel seems like a good thing to work on. Gas core engine. I think I won't invent a gas core engine until I've got a couple of new techs. You don't always want to get and use the new tech you have because you don't want to be constantly refitting to accommodate it. Right, yeah, I'm meant to be looking at automated mine count. It's actually barely going down now on this trip, but there's the new one. But yeah, we want to invent a few things to improve our engine before we implement it. For example, I don't want to do an 8,000 tech yet. Actually, I think we might be happy with this engine. So let's get a new engine going. It's going to be a nuclear gas core engine. It's going to run at... I'm tempted to run it at 50% rather than 40%, even though it uses more fuel. You just get... I mean, you get 25% more power out of it. 25% more power for double the fuel consumption. Not quite double, but approaching double the fuel consumption. But it's so fast. So much faster. And yoink down the fuel consumption there by making it just way bigger. Fuel consumption per power anyway. And this is going to give us 300 force. And remember, our previous one was only giving us 192. So it's a huge increase. We can get this commercial nuclear gas core engine. Create that. Boom. And then we just go here and we're going to invent that bad boy. Cool. And the active grav sensor is invented. Do I want to go up to 16? Well, let's see what we can do with 12. Remember, we're trying to spot something about 1 million kilometers away when it's ditchy. So we'd have to go up to about size 7. It's pretty good. That's not too expensive. Size 7. 330 tons for a sensor. It's going to spot the missiles nice and far away. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so we'll invent one of them. And then we also want to invent one which has a higher resolution to spot enemy ships. And we'll go with a 5,000 ton or larger object. Now this is for spotting enemy ships, so we want to see them at, a fairly decent far distance away. But we don't... Ideally, we see the enemy ship and the enemy missile. Just very anecdotally, I think enemy ships tend to have a range of about 100 million kilometers. At least the precursor ones, which are what we're likely to encounter first. So let's go with a size 25 reactor thing. It's going to cost us 1,200 research points to invent this thing. That's a lot, right? That's a ton. But I think I will build that. Boom, boom, boom. So there is the active search sensor, and you can see this one has a resolution of 100, meaning a resolution. It's looking for things of hull size of 100. And this one is a resolution of 1, so looking for things with a hull size of 1 or lower. So start on that. Start on the big one. And then, yeah, keeping an eye on the number of automated mines on Earth. 5 inactive labs. Why? Ah, because they only have 10 labs assigned to that dude at once. We'll get the other one going as well. And then I should assign new here. And there's our new engine invented. So we should take a moment to upgrade our ships. So the Atmos. I tend to rename things when we go up a tech level on engines. So the Atmos is instead going to become, where is it? Book Survival. Chronicles. So the Chronicles class ship is going to lose its 5 commercial nuclear pulse engines, which incidentally are going to be obsoleted. So we're not going to use them anymore. Instead it gets 5 of these. So it's a similar size ship, very similar size ship, tiny bit larger, but look at that speed difference. 1100 to 1700, and the range down from 31 to 20, because remember we went with 50% power rather than 40% power. So to compensate for that, we're going to give it more fuel storage. We get 10 fuel storage. It's only military vessels, by the way, that I really care about the exact size. For freighters and things, I don't tend to mind so much. So the Atmos, you are now an obsolete class. The Chronicles is the new hotness, and we're going to refit our ships to it. So, shippy boys. Oh, I'll let them finish doing this, and then I'll refit them, I guess. What do I want to do with my new research lab abundance? Let's put a bunch of them onto search sensors. And then we also need to invent gravity search sensors. Gravitational survey sensors, excuse me. We still have spare things, so let's work on another construction tech. Like... we should probably get a Sorium harvester as well. Or a jump stabilization module. This is how you build jump gates. Sure, let's get one of them. Assign you there. Good stuff. Alright, a couple of people getting promoted, no problem. There's the active search sensor being researched. Sensors. Here's a 35% bonus. The guys we currently have running are better than 35% bonus. I'll just power some new guys into this. Fine. And when both active search sensors have been built, we can begin to think about the size of our new ship that we're going to build, our survey boat, which just goes out there and tries to spot the enemy so that other ships can then deal with the enemy. There we go. The active survey sensor is done. So new ship class. This is a scout boat, or just a scout, sure. And what name are we using for scouts? Birds, maybe? No, I use birds for something else. Breeds of dog. Sure, scouting dogs, starting with an Afghan. So the Afghan has 1 engine, so it goes quite a lot faster than our other ships. And then it also has... where are they? Active search sensors. And it has the ship search sensor and the missile search sensor, which I probably should have named, but oh well. We'll name them in the future. It's 5,200 tons. Goes at 28,000 kilometers. It needs way more range. And it's a military vessel. So we're going to need to add more engineering spaces and maintenance storage bays. Last 2 years. It won't be out for very long. It's just going to go out and come straight back. Let's give it an 8-month deployment time. So actually it needs a bit less on the engineering than that. Yeah, 1.45 years is fine. I want it to be, you know, lean and all that's got the modern whatever, that armor. Anything else I want to put on here? Yeah, right. Conscript, no officers, because these ships will die for sure. I think that's pretty much what I want. So it's spotting. Yeah, missile control range, 1 million kilometers. Now it's spotting ships at 101 million kilometers. Okay, so it is a 5,500 ton ship. Okay, so now we need to invent a jump drive capable of hurling this beautiful little Afghan through space. And bear in mind that the size of the jump engine will be added to the size of the ship. So the jump drive that we're going to build will need to be large enough that it can jump itself and the ship through. So let's say we've got a jump drive of 2,000 tons. Then it could jump a ship of 7,500 tons, which would narrowly be about right for this. So I think that's what we're going to do. This is the... what am I going to call this? This is the Afghan drive. It's going to cost us 200 research points to build it, which is not very much. And there it is. So now we research that. The Afghan commercial jump drive. Gimme, gimme. And then once that's invented, we can worry about how the hell we're going to build this ship. The Afghan commercial jump drive has been invented. So we go in here, we go to jump drives. Where are they? I think I might need to reopen the screen. The jump drives, the Afghan commercial jump drive. And I did my maths wrong somehow. Whoops. Not quite sure how I did that, but... probably because the larger ship with more parts now needs more crew quarters. I guess we'll reduce the fuel storage a bit. And... put some back on. Bit less than that. Still a bit less than that. 44 billion kilometer range. That's high enough, I think. Oh, my push to me didn't work. Ah, no, there it did. Good. 44 billion kilometers. So here's our Afghan scout ship. Seems good to me. Now, what we want to try and do is build a science ship which is similar to this vessel. So similar that I can build both of them from the same... No, we're not going to be able to do that. Let's not try and do that. But we also need, we're going to need a new survey vessel, one capable of jumping into other systems. So let's make a copy of the survey vessel and select a new name. We're going with German cities, aren't we? Or is it HRE cities? I forget. Where did I get this from? Is it Empire? No, Europe. It was just Europe. Okay. So starting we're going with B. Sure, the Berlin class. So the Berlin class scout ship is going to get new armor, new engine, and it's also going to get some new gravitational survey sensors. So we'll wait until those are invented to fully invent it. And then once we've got the survey vessel and the scout vessel invented and designed, all the components invented, then we can start surveying our system and jumping into other ones. Everything here looks good. We do have some spare labs, so let's put them on there. And away we go. Right, yes, and automated mines down to 10 now. Okay. 7, 6, 4, 3, 1. Okay. So now, shippy boys, stop at Earth for me. And then what they're going to do, and you can see we've got 101 here now, 111 here, and 105 here. And they're all sending that resources home. But you can see here we are slightly over the amount we need. Wild needs one more mass driver. So let's load one mass driver and go and drop it off, and then go out to Earth and refuel. Bang. How long was that going to take? 9 days. Done. Okay, so now we're going to need to go and inhabit some of those planets that we picked to be inhabited. So we're going to go Earth, we're going to refuel, we're going to load infrastructure, and then we're going to go to the various places we want to make habitable and drop off some infrastructure. So IO is one, And then we're going to go back to Earth. We're going to refuel. But we don't want to load one infrastructure. We want to load as much as we can fit in our holds, which will be 25 or 250. I think 25. I'm not sure though. Or no, 75. I think 1,000 each maybe. I think that's right. Load infrastructure. Go to IO. Unload it. Go to Earth. Refuel. Load infrastructure. And then what are the other ones we want to inhabit? Wild is not getting inhabited, right? No, it's low gravity. Venus is not getting inhabited because the colony costs are just way too high. Luna is getting inhabited. Go to Luna. Unload all installations. Go to Earth. Refuel. Load. Infrastructure. I should probably try and do it in this order, shouldn't I? So, Dione, are you getting inhabited? No. Europa, yes. Unload infrastructure. Earth. Refuel. Load. Infrastructure. Frey. No, you're a comet, aren't you? Yeah. Ganymede is. Unload infrastructure. And remember, you won't have to do this multiple times because we can set it up as a template. Load infrastructure. Gong Gong, no. Hades Comet, no. Mars, yes. Mars. Unload installations. Hop on home. Load up that infrastructure. Okay, and then Mercury, I know that one, yes. Load infrastructure. Temple, no. Titan, yes. I just know that. Load up that infrastructure. Van Beesbrook, no. Whipple, no. Wolf, no. So that's all the ones we're inhabiting. So it does all this. And then it returns to Earth and refuels. And we're going to cycle those moves, and we're going to create a template. This is Sol Inf to all inhabited. Done. And we'll just cycle those moves once every 80 days until we have a bunch of our infrastructure sent everywhere. However, it's just occurred to me, I was going to upgrade these ships first. So let's refit the Atmos Mark 3s. No, okay, I can't refit the Atmos Mark 3s to the new ones. Instead, we're going to have to retool to the new Freight Chronicles because the ships are too different. When you change the engines on a ship, it's very rare that it's very rare that you can refit between them. And we'll talk about when you can and can't refit when it actually comes up that we can, so I can have a nice example for you. So we're going to retool this to Chronicles, which you should have done a while ago. It's going to take, Jesus Christ, 10 years? No, 6 months. Okay, that's more reasonable. And then we can start building some of our new Chronicles class freighters. Boom. Move that over here. And away we go. And there we go. Gravitational survey sensors have been invented. Nice. So the Afghan is going to get 2 gravitational survey sensors. 1, 2. And now you can see it's 8,000 tons because they're big. These gravitational survey sensors, they are. So, oh, sorry, that's the scout class. Take those off. The Berlin survey vessel. That's what gets them. Okay. So now we need something that's going to be able to jump this through. It's got good range, good speed, that's fine. Fine maintenance life. Well, actually, maintenance life could serve to do a bit better, but we'll worry about that in a second. So it's 4,000 tons. If we were to put an Afghan drive on it, an Afghan drive could do it, actually. Okay, nice. We're going to be able to use the Afghan drive on both the survey vessel and the Afghan. In which case, we might be able to refit between them, actually. Let's try and make the Berlin one match the Afghan in some other ways. So the fuel storage, it's one fuel, 3 fighter, 3 small, 3 tiny. 1 fuel. Oh, it's not that close, is it? What if I did that, though? 3 small. What did I say? 3 small, 3 fighter, 2 tiny. Fuel storage fighter. It was 3 fighter, wasn't it? Yeah. 2 tiny. Okay. So these ships are getting pretty similar. What even is the difference at this point between these? Apart from the fact that one has survey. Oh, of course, the sensors. Duh. So what we can do now, if we save, is I can turn off my display capture. And then we can open up an excellent tool. Versions current. Called. Where is it? Do I not have it saved here? Surely I do. Versions, current. Vent toggle. Where is the... Surely I have it. There's a tool which reads your system. Reads your database and then tells you... Oh, here it is. Missile and ship calculator. Ouroboros calculator. Is that not what it is? Hang on, let me pause and get this downloaded. Right, Jesus Christ, that took a long time. So, here is the ship and missile optimizer from Ice Ranger. It's an incredibly powerful tool. If you Google Aurora 4X ship and missile optimizer, you will find it. It's very, very useful, but I had to download Java onto my computer to make it work because I forgot that I was on a new PC, and hence it wouldn't work. So, if we now go to the ship planner, and I know you can't see anything, and we open up... Oh my god, it's just gone to System 32. Don't do that, for God's sake. Documents. Where'd I put it? Games Aurora 4X. Versions, current version, Aurora database. Okay. And we're worrying about this game. Now I can show you. So, here we can see our different designs, right? We've got the Chronicles, the Afghan, and the Berlin. Now we're hoping that we can refit the Afghan to the Berlin. And in fact, we can. Nice. No, sorry, we can't. So, what you see here is the refit cost. Now, the refit cost, in order to refit from A to B, the refit cost has to be less than 20% the cost of the total ship. And the ship's sizes have to be within a certain distance of each other. Something like that. But you don't need to worry about it too much, because what you want to do is you get both ships, you select them both, and then you click. And if there's something here when you select a ship, that means you can refit. That means that if this class is tooled on the shipyard, you can build... Sorry, the sound might be a bit loud. If this class is tooled, then you can build this class. If you can't build them, the next thing you can try is highlighting them both and then clicking Bridging Hull. And in this case, it successfully generated a bridging design that covers both. So this design 2 here. Now this is a kind of a trick, basically, because this ship is kind of in the middle of these two, and it can be refitted to both of these things, which means that if we tool a shipyard to this ship, which we're never going to build, then we will be able to build both of these. Funky, right? So what we do is we go in here and we go new ship class, and this is a bridging class ship. Is there something called a bridge? It'll be handy. Bomber, breaching pod, base. Base kind of works. This is like a base ship. And we're going to name this, rename class. We're going to name this the Afghan and Berlin. And now we're going to design this ship to match this design that is generated here, which means it needs an active search sensor, the 100 resolution one. It needs an engineering spaces, which it has. It needs the same fuel things as them, unsurprisingly. So 1 fuel storage, 3 fighter, 2 tiny, 3 small. Right. 3 fighter, 3 small, 3 tiny. 2 tiny, sorry. Yes. Okay. It needs 2 geological survey sensors, 1 gravitational survey sensor. 2 geological. And if this all seems a bit too complicated for you on your first game, totally fair enough. Just build extra shipyards and you can build the ships out of those. I'm just doing this so we can be a bit efficient on the number of shipyards that we have. It wants an Afghan commercial jump drive. And that's it. Okay, so this ship and the jump engine is too small for the design, but that doesn't matter because it's not on these ones. Warnings pop up in this box here, by the way. Why is my cursor vanishing when it goes over here? Anyway, yeah, this box down there is the one that has it. So this is the ship, and that should be right, I think. Yeah. Okay, so now what we do, whoops, is we go to our shipyards and we say, hey, survey yards, I want you to retool to the BS, Afghan, and Berlin. Set that activity. And I'm also going to rename it, because this is the survey yards brackets SV and SC. It's scout and survey ships come out of this one, and this one should probably be just for completeness sake. This is freight. And now there's another type of ship that we should design, which is a colony ship. But we need to invent something for that, actually. So let's do that now. And then once that's finished refitting over, we'll be able to build those 2 new ships. So now it's under logistics, I believe. Cryogenic transport. We're going to use... we'll do it slowly, that's fine. I'm not in a tearing hurry to get cryo transport done. So that is... Oh, it's just 1 year. Yeah, that's fine, it's fine. Get the jump point stabilization done. And sure, let's get the science department done. Okay. Good. Let's go. Already done the jump point stabilization module. In fact, I think I will immediately do the 150 jump point stabilization. Oh, 10,000 is quite a lot. Instead, let's get more mining production. And new stuff can just be assigned to this. Cool. Now, how long is that refit going to take? Retool, sorry. Not that long. Be done in September. And then we can start building things. So the retooling for the Chronicles task is done. At which point we can build some more Chronicles. Wait, where's my shipyard fleet gone? I thought I had a... could have sworn I had a shipyard fleet. One Earth shipyard. You want you to construct. So I got to reload the thing. There we go. Construct to Earth shipyard. Give me 3 more freighters, please. And shortly this will finish. Done. And now we can build these new ships we've got. So we're going to build ourselves, and we can build both the Afghan and the Berlin, as you can see, out of this one. So sensors, we don't need very many of them. We'll just build 1 of those and 2 Berlins. Berlins, remember, are the scout ones. And we'll see them tick away here towards building those. We've researched a bunch of stuff. Infantry, anti-tank, air, and we've done that automatically because a civilian mining station has been enacted up here. So you can see they're mining some gallicite, some verandite, and some duranium. And what we're going to do is buy their minerals off them. So you can either tax it and make this much a year, or purchase it and spend this much a year. And we're going to buy it and send it to Earth. They set up their own mines, and they set up their own mass drivers as well. 1 civilian mining complex is equal to 10 mines, by the way. So that's fine. And they've immediately got 2 more set up as well. I'm just going to purchase all their minerals because I don't want to find myself running out of minerals early on, because if the commercial sector gets their hands on minerals, they just vanish. They just straight up cease existing. All right. We've finished the research into mining production. Let's do probably another construction one. Sure, give me a research rate one. How are we doing on those ships? Getting there. And we've completed research into cryonic transplant, and so try transport. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the Chronicles freighter. We're going to copy it and rename it. That's the Chronicles freight. This is the Chronicles colony. So again, rename this. That's the Chronicles freight and the Chronicles colony. And the colony doesn't have the cargo bay. Instead, firstly, obsolete that component, has a bunch of cryogenic transports. And we're just going to put however many on. And I think the answer is 10. That it's the same size. Ish. Yes, it's very close to the same size, as you can see here. It's a bit slower, and this can hold 100,000 people, colonists. So we'll go here to the shipyards, and I'll check, can we make the freighter one here? No. Maybe just because I haven't refreshed this screen? I think I should be able to make it. No, okay. Well, let me... Huh, that's weird. It doesn't seem to have saved it. Ah, I'm selecting the wrong ship. There we go. It's weird. My ship optimizer thing doesn't seem to be working. Select the optimizer. This one. We're going for Solitarium, which is this game. Import. This will overwrite. Are you sure? Yes. Huh. Maybe it doesn't save it until I close this. Oh, I didn't save. That's what it is. So we save. We open up. Yes, I've installed Java. You open up the optimizer. You import. And we can see now if we double click on this one, you can refit to these as well as design 2, which you don't need. And we can see the Chronicles C can be refit to the Chronicles F, but the Chronicles F cannot be refit to the Chronicles C. So what we want to do, because F is larger. So what we're going to do is we go to our... Wait, which way around is it? Yeah, C can be refit to F. So what we're going to do is we go here, and we retool this to C. Set that activity, and that won't take long at all. And then once that's done, we can build both normal freight and colonist ones out of it, which is handy. I will purchase your minerals. Actually, you have duranium, which is very plentiful, so I'm not going to purchase your minerals. Next, new research. New logistics one, maybe. Sure, we're so nearly done on fuel storage large. It's absurd. There we go, done. And now, this guy with 40% bonus, I kind of want to use him. Let's get Transnewtonian cargo shuttles so we can unload and load stuff faster. Good, good, good. There we go. Our first 3 Chronicle ships have been built. Lovely jubbly. Build me another 3. We're going to build ourselves a lot of ships over the years here. So here's the Earth shipyard. You 3 can get detached and moved up under... Ah, this is called shipyard. That's not right. This is itinerant freight. Why are you here? You should be under itinerant freight. And you should not exist. Yes, delete that. Okay, and you shouldn't be general. Itinerant freight, you should be logistics. And you should be logistics as well. Which means that we're getting bonuses from the captain here and the rank 7 dude here and the commodore here. All applying down and helping our freight bonuses. Now this is freight 1. And this is freight 2. Okay, so now the Chronicles dudes can go to Earth and do a little bit of automated mine shipping out, I think. They can go to Venus, and back to Earth and refuel, and just cycle that for a bit for me. And you note that they'll be going much, much, much faster than our other ships, which is good. And soon we will have our first, and we've got too many windows open because it's going a bit slower anyway. Finish research into science department rather. I do want to just get all the kind of control system ones. They're a bit expensive, like a flag bridge and things. It's pretty cheap. Mean engineering. Let's just start getting some of the anti-missile tech so that we're in a good place. And there we go. The Afghan one has been built. Now remind me, the Afghan is that's the censorship, right? Yeah, it's the Berlin that we're really waiting for. So I'll wait for that. There we go. The Berlin 1 and 2 have been built. And now if we turn on show, if we zoom out, you can see these dots here. These are survey locations where we survey for jump points. So we take our Berlins, and we go here and then ship list, select them both, detach. We put them under the survey command, and we give them some standing orders. We want them to survey the nearest survey location. If their fuel is less, then go home and refuel. If their deployment exceeded, refuel, resupply, and overhaul. I should check actually. Did I give the Berlin sensible deployment times? No. They have a deployment time of 18 and maintenance life of significantly less than 18. My bad. So we should actually probably decrease this to like 10. We can't modify it while locked, so instead we'll copy the class, rename it to the Berlin MK2. And the MK2 will have a deployment time of 10 months. Cool. Now, but we're not going to correct for that now, because I want to show you what happens when you find a jump point. So go and survey. You can see them bouncing around here. Freight 2 was unable to load automated mines, so it can just stop cycling its moves. Refuel from Earth. And Freight 1 actually can remove all its orders, go to Earth, unload all installations, refuel, turn off cycle moves. And then Freight 2, I'm going to import the Sol Inf to Inhabited and set that cycling. And how much infrastructure do we have left to Earth, by the way? Still 3,000. So I'm going to hand it off to be done by Freight 2 rather than Freight 1, because Freight 1's going to come home and then I'm going to scrap all the ships in it, because they are using bad engines, which is an inefficient use of my fuel. 1 inactive research on Earth. Okay, I should have forgot to assign assign new. There we go. Freight 1's done. Fine. Carry on. Find me a jump point. Science team has done the tracking one. Why don't you just keep going on that, honestly. And you can see them bouncing around and checking all these survey locations. And as they finish on the survey locations, the survey locations disappear. And they just you can see going to refuel. And the retooling for Chronicles has completed on Earth. Which means, but we haven't got any free things right now. We've got some new mining things. Corbomite and Tritanium. Very little that's not Duranium, so I'm not going to bother. Some Gallicite. There's almost none of it, so I'm not going to bother. We'll just take the cash. Alright, there we go. Some more freight done. Worry about that next episode, I think. What I want to do right now is just start the production of some colony ships. Construct me, yes, freight colony C. Give me 3 of those. Now, come on, find me a jump point. So expanding colonies. There we go, a new jump point. Okay. So we save. We detect a new jump point. Where is it? There it is. Jump point 1, unexplored. Fantastic. Out in the asteroid belt. Cool. The outer asteroid belt, whatever it's called. So now we take one of our Berlin ones. No, sorry. We take our Afghan. We detach him. We put him under survey. The Afghan, and you can see JC, jump capable. And we say, oh, Afghan dear, I'm going to need you to move to jump point 1. Move to location. It's going to take 30 days. Wow, why are you so slow? They're just slow, I guess. Oh, that's not that slow. Okay. Okay, this is fair distance out to be. To be fair to them, it's a fair distance away. Okay. So he's going to jump point 1. And we wait the requisite 30 days for him to jump out there. Boom, we have arrived. And now, Afghan 1, jump point 1, standard transit. Make the jump. Oh, no, sorry. Remove last. First off, turn on your active sensors. Which means now if we wait 5 seconds, or maybe an hour, I don't need to show on here, active sensors. We can see these are the 2 different active sensor ranges of this ship. We can see it's got its ship search sensor and its missile search sensor. And those are the respective distances they're capable of seeing things at. Of their planned resolution, that is. So now, once again, jump point 1, standard transit, 5 seconds. Boom! Welcome to 61 Hydri, our first new system. And as you can see, it's pretty empty. It's got 3 comets and that's it in this whole system. So not very exciting from a resources point of view. How big is the system is another important thing. It's nice and small. That's really good. So sometimes the systems, like Sol, for example, is like 26 billion kilometers across, which means if you have one jump point here and one here, and you want to go, you know, from the system at the other side of this jump point to the system at the other side of this jump point, you've got to go 11 billion kilometers, right? Bit of a pain. But this system is really small, which means that you can go across it really fast. You can you know, hop out of a jump point here and then jump into another jump point here in no time flat, which is good. But the Afghan is just going to, we're going to wait one day, And then it's going to go, and I know there's nothing hostile in this system because there's no planets that could possibly house hostile stuff. So it's going to transit back to Sol, and then it's going to go just back to Earth, refuel, do a little bit of an overhaul. Nice. Okay, so first system explored. From here, it's just a matter of doing that until we find somewhere that's going to be more useful to us, basically. And there'll be more jump points out of Sol. And of course, we can survey this system and find the jump points out of here. But for now, I'm going to call that a part. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.